Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Azure podcast with your hosts, Sam Foote.
And Alan Armstrong.
If you're new here, we're a pair of Azure and Office 365 focused IT professionals. Each episode, we talk about a specific topic in this space. This week, we're on to a new season after a long break. So it's a little more relaxed and we don't have a specific topic. If you don't want to hear us talking about ourselves, then you'll feel free to skip on. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally. I logged into our channel stats and it seems like we haven't uploaded for over a year. And I think the stats page is being nice to us because I think it's a lot longer than a year since the last time we recorded.
Yes, it's definitely been some time. I thought it wasn't that long ago, but clearly time passes.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. What have we been up to then? What's our grand excuse for not uploading?
Well, I think we had some problems with recording, didn't we, with our previous method? And yeah, I think we just had a couple of episodes on the last series that were more difficult to get done. So it took more time than we anticipated. So I think we're looking for a new solution, and yeah, we only got to it now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we'll soon find out if this solution works, right? Yeah, I think if we haven't explained it before, we both record remotely. So getting a high quality upload from two remote sources and making sure that everything is recorded correctly and it's all aligned. We used to use a Discord bot to record it, but we had a couple of failed recordings and you didn't find that out until the end of the recording, obviously. So yeah, it was a bit disheartening, wasn't it? So I think, yeah, it's sort of we missed a couple of our upload slots, didn't we? And then we just sort of, yeah, we just didn't do it for a while. And then it wasn't until 6-8 months later that we realized we haven't uploaded for absolutely ages, right? So yeah, so it's good to be back, and I think the message is we've got a new solution in place. We've got a lot of planned episodes coming up. We've got time in our diaries to make sure that we record and we have good content to give to the audience. So hopefully from now on we should be a lot slicker, which will mean that we actually keep uploading, if that makes sense. We made it as easy as possible for ourselves.
Yeah, we
Right?
thought we did that last time, but yeah.
Yeah,
Let's definitely try
exactly.
this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, definitely. So, Alan, give us a quick update with what you've been up to over the past year. What's new in your world, and what have you been up to?
So continuing with learning and getting certifications. So got quite a few now. Waiting for some others to come out of beta. So hopefully I'll see whatever I get those. Um, I've now moved on from my previous Microsoft partner and moved on to a new one called ITC Secure. So working with the team there and again helping customers where we can. So
Okay. And is of all your certificates that you've done been purely Microsoft focused? Are you moving? Are you just focusing on those exams, or have you moved to any other cloud providers or anything
so not
else?
at the moment. It's only been Microsoft again. I think I'm on 14 certifications now. I think it is something like that. But some of the recent training is going to be more around um, analyzing incidents and things like that, using the blue team level 1 kind of stuff. So go look into a bit more theory as well to match the Microsoft stuff. So
Okay, so yeah, so also not just focusing on specific tools and products, but also like the wider security space, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah,
put some background behind the security side of things as well as all the Microsoft stuff that's chopping and changing all the time. So
yeah, exactly, definitely. And what sort of technologies are you now working with? What's your sort of day to day bread and butter? Like what excites you most in the world of Microsoft?
so definitely still Sentinel. I think it was Sentinel a year ago. But it's moved definitely more into the Azure side. So Defender for Cloud, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which was the Azure Security Center 12 months ago. And, looking at other how it can help, look at other clouds and things like that. So um, looking a bit further than just Microsoft in a very light way at the moment.
Okay. And are you seeing that multi-cloud management of multi-cloud environments is becoming more and more of a request from customers? Do you think that that is the way things are going? That you're going to have to be sort of cloud agnostic to a
I
degree?
think you're going to have to understand the other clouds. They can't be you can't be just in one. I think you have to have some light sort of introduction even to the other clouds, especially with even with the Microsoft stuff. It's moving into multi-cloud. That's why some of the products have been branded as Microsoft and a product, not just Azure or 365, etc. So it's just showing that their products are for multi multi environments that are not Microsoft as well. So
Yeah, I think it's especially from my experience as well. I see a lot of customers that they may have, say, their identities with, in Active Directory. They may have their product stack on another cloud or hosting provider. So, like you say, Microsoft moving away from Azure specific naming um, is really putting that thought out there that they are thinking more than just of their own technology and stack, right? Um, yeah, and understanding diff, uh, the key crossovers between them. Not necessarily maybe becoming a subject matter expert in everything because that is impossible, but having a good high level understanding of what else is out there and what other people are using is really
yeah,
important.
you can't sort of leave you can't be just looking at one product. Like we said, you do have to have an insight at least.
Yeah, especially in our world, right? So yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
great.
So what about you then,
Um,
Sam?
yeah.
What have you been up to?
So, what have I been up to? That's a very good question. Um, so I have joined the dark side in more ways than one. No, I'm only joking. So I've made sort of a professional shift over to cloud security from my more development background. I think the origins of this podcast were maybe the start of this journey for me. So I've got quite a deep development background. I've been a programmer for many years, and and I've just had a natural shift over to cloud and cloud infrastructure, cloud security, without really realizing it. As I've got more experience. Those elements of our application stacks have fallen to me to configure and manage. So I've made a shift over to being a cloud security consultant. So I'm working with the same company as Alan, ITC Secure, as a cloud security consultant. So I'm still writing code and I'm still doing bits and bobs with product and applications. But now I've got a real true focus on infrastructure. So I'm doing I'm helping with coding and scripting, as well as cloud configuration, Terraform. So all the Azure side really. I'm That's where my biggest focus is. But securing workloads, architecting workloads, and also advising on a bit of development and product really. So yeah, so I still get to do bits of what I truly love, but I also I'm really excited by cloud security. I really enjoy the work, so I've just naturally shifted over to doing it full time now. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I've kind of joined you, Alan.
I think it's like you said. It's when you've been developing your applications and that in the your company, and that you kind of seen that you've had to secure them and things like that as a base, and then you've kind of come to that sort of natural, I guess, involvement that security is one of the key points. I mean, I think you knew that anyway, but
Yeah, I think, and I think as well. the larger the organization, the more focus is, with startups. And I used to do a lot of work with startups, and they did care about security, but they weren't forced to. There's no regulatory compliance at that side, or if they're in a niche that requires it, there is. But a lot of say SaaS businesses that I've worked with, um, they're running ahead with their product and they're securing as they go, and doing not the minimum because they can't, but if they did things, if they did all of the work that they need to do, then they wouldn't get their product out the door, right? So it's this balance of velocity and best practice, and that balance. But when you're working with a larger enterprise, that is from the beginning. It's less about, it still is about the cost, obviously, but it's layered in that there will be proper infrastructure as code. There will be documentation. There will be an alignment to a compliance framework. you know those conversations happen at the start, and they are part of the project brief, right? So and as my company has matured, and we started to work with larger organizations, I just saw that over and over again. It wasn't necessarily about our technical skill to code, which is another thing altogether about code security and the like, but infrastructure and data privacy, data security, data durability, and all of that needs to be thought about.
and and
Large,
access to
yeah,
the environment as well, isn't it? Identity and access management has definitely become a bigger
yeah,
piece as well.
exactly, and when you're building custom solutions, the enterprise world is so now aligned with a single identity plane or control, or whatever you want to call it, whatever product is at the center of your, bring all those identities into one place. And it's all around managed identities, and making sure that that is all. And there are so many products out there now, it's kind of the right thing to not roll your own solution, is to integrate and have, and when you can go to a customer and you can say, you won't need a separate username and password. We could just, connect to your identity provider. That breaks down a lot of barriers, because IT's then on your side because they understand that you understand their their biggest problem, right? So I think, and I think my viewpoint of that has only come about with, working with you guys, and understanding what challenges you have to go through from the other side,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. And I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in like an IT and infrastructure and compliance perspective, because I've been on the product side where it's like, I just want to go as fast as possible, and it's like, no, you can't do that. Well, you can if if you're, say, a bootstrap startup and you've got no regulatory compliance to worry about at the moment. You can do it as you go, but like I said, larger enterprises, you just can't do that. So yeah, it's been interesting. I've been full time for just over a month, actually. It's not even been that long,
yeah,
has it? I've been contracting for a while, but yeah, I've only been in it full time for a month, and just over a month. Feels like longer than that, to be honest
it's
with
probably
you.
because
But
you've been contracting
yeah,
with
so it's
us,
been,
so it's
yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's been good, and I think we've both had a lot going on. I had a few big projects. You had some big changes as well going on. So yeah, that's the main reason for season 2 not coming out of the podcast for a while. So let's stop blabbing on about ourselves for the moment. Let's just quickly talk through. This episode isn't going to be super long. We're just checking back in with everybody, making sure our setup works, and yeah, and then moving on from there. Right. So what's next? What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and do 20 episodes in the next season. So we've now got a recording schedule. We're going to batch up recordings. We're going to talk and make sure that we've got a runway of episodes to go to. Then we'll have a short break, and then we'll move on to season 3. And that's just so that we've got a nice round number. and then that's how we're going to structure our seasons going forward. Alan, do you want to just talk a little bit about the next format and what we're thinking about how we're going to structure each episode?
Yeah, so I think previously it was we'd find a technology or something, and then we just talk about it. This time we're going to try and do a Q&A session. So one of us is going to be the, uh, in air quotes, the expert, um, and then the other one is going to be the stakeholder, the potential customer kind of scenario, in asking all the difficult questions that they may have. And yeah, we're going to try and do it that way. So there's a bit of context to why should you use this technology, why should you do it this way, rather than sort of this is what it does kind of thing. So there'll be a bit of both, but I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah. So what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to just comment on technology and any new news that are coming out. What we wanted to do is we wanted to go through, say, the value proposition of each product or service or technology that we're using, and try and highlight some of the questions that we've been asked, we would ask, when we're investigating, and also to bring up any really great nuggets of information that we've found so far during our own investigation, and any potential pitfalls. So if we're talking about technology and there's a gotcha here, like that we've been through and that we found, then we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, and we're going to try and, I don't think it'll be as formal as like pretending to be a customer, but we're definitely going to have a subject matter expert, in air quotes, subject matter expert, because some of the things we're going to talk about is going to be completely new, right? We're just, first look, having, and going through it. But we're going to have one. So let's say an episode is around some sort of element of Sentinel, then Alan is probably going to be the subject matter expert for that. I will ask him questions about it. We will discuss it and talk about it. And vice versa. If we've got an episode about Terraform, then I'm probably going to be the subject matter expert, and Al's going to ask me the questions about that. So yeah, but I think that's pretty much it, isn't it, Al? From
Yeah,
our thing.
yeah, that's definitely what we're planning anyway. So we'll see how we get on.
Yeah. See how it works, see how the stats do, and what the feedback's like, which would be great. And yeah, so in terms of like content areas, mainly focused on security related, like a security related focus, both Azure and Office 365. And as Al's mentioned, multi-cloud, defender for cloud policy, cloud standardization is big on the hot on the press at the moment. So we're going to be talking a lot around those areas. Also, infrastructure as code, Terraform, ARM, all of that sort of stuff, and then as well some of the big products, Sentinel, Active Directory. Anything I've missed, Alan?
All the defenders, yeah, Azure AD, Identity, yeah, and Entra,
Could,
yeah.
could be anything, couldn't it? Yeah, exactly. Entra. Yeah. Funny you should talk about Entra. So yeah, our first episode is going to be around Microsoft Entra. Did I say it
Yep.
correctly,
Well,
Alan?
I
Oh,
believe
sorry,
you
the
did.
naming
Yes.
is yeah. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Microsoft Entra, and yeah, and I think from there we're just going to, we won't go through much of the plan, but we'll just take it day by day, basically, from there on. Cool. I think that was a good little catch up. What do you think, Alan? Anything else that you want to let everybody know?
Yeah. Sorry that we sort of left it for so long. It wasn't intentional at all.
We went
Yeah, it
AWOL.
wasn't intentional at all.
It was not intentional at all. No. And I think our channel stats are looking really good, considering we've done nothing for ages. People are still listening, and that's why we're back. Because we can see the stats, we can see every single play, and that everyone's listening. So yeah, thank you ever so much for listening. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest. We really enjoy recording the podcast. It's a great resource for us two, because we get to talk about technology, understand things from each other's brains. But it's good to see that other people are listening and hopefully learning from our mistakes, should I say? So our life lessons, as I should say. So okay, great, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yep. See you next
Cheers,
time.
thank you.
Bye.